We aspire to discover the route to peace, pleasure, and freedom. We seek to feel liked, worthy, and safe. We know that if we perform our inner work and are open to our connection with Spirit, we will experience all of that. Yet we don't. We put it off for days or weeks. We remain caught in our sadness or numbness. Why? What are we so terrified of if we open to learning about love? I have sought for many years the solution to this question. Time and over, I would find myself out of grace and joy and into tension and stress. Each time it was because I neglected to take care of myself in some manner. The trouble is that all sensations are in the same box. Pain is in the same box as pleasure. We cannot be putting a lid on grief without putting a cap on happiness. What is the anguish we are straining so hard to avoid feeling? Most individuals suffer a lot of discomforts. We feel nervous, afraid, sad, and wounded. Since we are frequently in pain, it doesn't seem to make sense that we are, at the same time as we are suffering all this agony, simultaneously avoiding discomfort. Yet that is precisely what we are doing. As unpleasant as we may be experiencing, we are avoiding suffering that we think is much worse than the anguish we are feeling. I have noticed that there are 3 sensations that most individuals wish to avoid at any cost: aloneness, loneliness, and powerlessness. Aloneness is what we experience when we are detached from God. Loneliness is what we experience when we cannot connect with someone, either because our heart is closed, their heart is closed, or both of our hearts are closed. Helplessness is what we would feel if, when we wish to connect with someone and their heart is completed, we realize that there is nothing we can do to help them open their heart. We feel helpless when we admit our lack of control over others. When we were newborns and tiny children, we couldn't allow ourselves to experience these sentiments. We could not have managed them and may have perished in despair. So we learned. Numerous precautions are to prevent experiencing these sensations. The trouble is that we still assume we will die if we experience these sensations. Therefore, we still avoid them. We avoid connecting with God for fear God will not be present, and we would feel alone. We become angry, withdraw, eat, drink, use drugs, watch TV, keep busy, overwork, and so on to avoid experiencing the anguish of our loneliness and powerlessness. Yet loneliness in our culture is inescapable. So many individuals spend their lives with their hearts closed to escape their suffering that it is difficult not to be among people whose hearts are completed part of the time. If we choose to avoid experiencing our loneliness and helplessness, then we, too, will shut our hearts. However, when we shut our hearts, we close down the pleasure too. Then we are trapped with the rampant worry, fear, melancholy, and pain rampant in our culture. You will not die if you are open to experiencing your loneliness and powerlessness. It is also enjoyable if you hold your lonely inner child while bringing through love from Spirit, because then you are not alone in your loneliness. The courage to experience the anguish of loneliness and powerlessness opens the path to pleasure, serenity, and liberation. The more you open to spiritual support in your loneliness, the more you can enjoy the luxury of this precious path of expanding your soul. There is an enormous delight in the voyage, even when there is loneliness.